Hello, my name is Putkonen. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm talking about the infinity of non-duality. As non-duality has no other, no circumference, no outside. Non-duality is infinite. It's ongoing. There's no outside. You can play with it conceptually, but I think it would be interesting to try to experiment, maybe with me here, in more of a kinesthetic, experiential, sensual kind of way. Because we get a little caught up in borders, in form. We see edges, we see beginnings, we see endings, we see, we're constantly looking at the edges. And I think so often we identify with this. We identify with the edges. We consider ourselves finite. But we're not. There is only the self, Brahman, and that is infinite. And so, a way to kind of perhaps explore this a bit is if you get kind of meditative and calm and just try to feel existence, being. I always like the word being. You're trying to feel being. And you might get kind of a sense that there might be something in it's not a nothing. Being is not a nothing. Being is a something. Not a something, but it is an existence. Being is. And so if you try to focus more on the feeling of being, it's like amness, beingness. And you just try to get deeply in touch with being and just feeling the existence, the being, the amness. And when you feel, when you're like, yeah, I kind of feel it, look for the edges. Is there a border to beingness? Is there a point in this experiential feeling? Now, I'm not talking about so much through the nerves. Perhaps it's more intuitive. Because I'm not saying, well, you only feel to hear. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the feeling experience of the body, but in trying to feel being itself. And you feel for the edges, so to speak. Where's the edge of being? And you can maybe do this with your eyes closed even. That might help, because seeing form, seeing it outside sometimes gets people caught up on separation and otherness. But if your eyes are closed and you're just feeling being, that which you are, and it's like, where is the outside? I mean, where is the edge? Is there an edge, more importantly? As you feel out, so to speak. you may find there's no edge. Because being, self, has no circumference, has no edge. And so as you feel out, you may have this recognition through an experience of there's no edge. And it is an interesting thing to play with. It's almost like ceasing to being turned inward. You know, you're actually turning outward in being and going, where is the edge? And you may find it just keeps expanding and expanding and expanding. And expanding is just the point of view of trying to feel the edge. But it's infinite. There's always more. That's the way infinity works. There's always one more. It just keeps going. It's unending. But there's merit, I think, in this kinesthetic, sensual, almost experiential experiment in trying to feel being and look and feel for the edge. Where's the outside? Where's the border? And then when you do this with your eyes closed, which is easier because of form, sometimes gets in the way. It becomes a distraction. You can try the same experiment again with the eyes open. You get very anchored in being and you're feeling it, and then feel for the edges. And as you look out, you may find the feeling of being goes clear through everything that's seen. The feeling of being is continuous. It just encompasses everything. It is not that you feel what others feel, so to speak. Again, that's focusing on the body. This is almost, like I said, an intuitive, because being isn't felt by the nerves of the body. Existence isn't felt by the nerves of the body. It's more of an intuitive feeling. You're intuitively feeling being, but then as you feel it and you look out in the world, you find there's no border. This intuitive feeling of being permeates everything. There is no edge. And so the sense of being is the same on everything that you look at. And this is an interesting, like I said, an interesting experiment, kind of a practice. In a way, this is abiding as self. You're getting this feeling of being. And you're feeling for the edges. So when you don't feel the edges and you're just expanded out, and you look around and there's this feeling of being that doesn't have separation. It's continuous. It permeates everything. There is no border where it goes, your being ends here and the next being starts there. The feeling of existence, the being, amness, continues onward infinitely. It is everything. It is omnipresent. It is said that Brahman is omnipresent. Well, in order to be present everywhere, I would say it would have to be also infinite. Because there can't be any otherwhere. nor is it finite. It's not like you're everything within this area and you're not out there, because that's not omnipresent. There is no out there. Omnipresence would have to be everywhere, which is infinite. And I think it's interesting to play with trying to feel being, amness, and look for the edges, because then you are intuitively, kind of experientially touching or tapping into that which is infinite, that which has no edges, that which has no borders, no outside. And that is self, Brahman. And so play with this a bit. It's a kind of an experiential thing. It's in a way, it's experiencing infinity. You can never encapsulate all of it in experience, obviously. But you can experience that there is no edge, no border. Every time you feel for the edge, there's always more. There's always one more. There's always more. And that's essentially what infinity is. There's always one more. There's no edge. It just goes on forever. And so as you're feeling through being, it just goes out and out and out and out without end. But anyways, if you got any questions, comments, please post below. But until next time, thank you much.